And then today, I get the privilege and the honor to introduce my friend who's going to be speaking to you today. His name's Dylan Wilson. And when my wife and we came to Manhattan, this is like a famous phrase for us. Now, this is our tiny world. In your world, you may not care about our phrases, but for us, these phrases are very important. And one that we've said since day one when we came to Manhattan is, we knew one person when we came here. We really did. We knew one person. And it was this guy. It was Dylan. And we knew him. He was a college student here. He'll fill in the gap on the story. But man, he was monumental. For even though we just knew one, it was like 10, man. You were like 10 because we put him to work. And we're like, people, go get them, But Dylan was huge in helping us start. He was a student at K-State, played football there. And man, it's been fun to watch this journey of the church, see what God's up to, but to see Dylan as a part. He will always have a thumbprint on the foundation of who Rock Hills Church is. And so I'm so excited. He's going to share just raw from his heart today about the transformation of God taking him on a journey, because it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And he's on a progression journey. And so I'm excited for him to be able to share with you. But Rock Hills, would you do the huge honor and give it up for Dylan Wilson speaking with you today?
Like Troy said, this is my second church home. You guys are some of my closest friends. A lot of you I get to keep up with through Facebook or Instagram or text message, but today I actually got to give you a hug. And I actually got to be here with you, be able to hang out here in this new building is absolutely incredible. The only Rock Hills I knew when I left was the Boys and Girls Club. So to be able to have this space and the way that God's moving, it's absolutely incredible to be back here with you today at my second church home. So like Troy said, I went here to K-State. I played on the football team from 2011 to 2016. So I was on the 5 bowl game teams, the Big 12 championship team, and I got the honor to be able to coach. Yeah, it was an awesome game. I loved it. I got to be under Coach Snyder's leadership and the staff there at the football complex here in Manhattan. That place changed my life. And this school changed my life. This community changed my life. I came here a boy trying to figure out who he was going to be, and what he was going to believe. Some big foundational questions that I didn't know. And I went through a couple years of a hard journey trying to find that. And the ways I was trying to find that weren't really that satisfying in the end, and probably weren't the smartest. I didn't want anything to do with God. I lived for myself. Whatever the next party was, I was there. Whoever the next girl was I could talk to, I was talking to her. And my life was consumed with whatever immediate kind of satisfaction I could get, trying to fill this void and this hole in my life that I tried for so long to try to fill by the things of this world and myself. And I finally hit a breaking point, probably like the junior year of college, the beginning of my junior year. And I said, dude, I got everything a 20-year-old would want. I'm on TV every weekend. I get to be friends with tons of NFL players. I get to have a full ride scholarship. Everything a 20-year-old could dream of, but there's still something missing. My parents believe in this thing called God, and they believe Jesus came here and died for our sins. But I've never really felt a connection with God or a personal relationship. So I'm going to go on this journey. I'm going to explore this for myself. I want to see what this really feels like and what this really could look like for my life, and not just a shadow or because of my parents. And so I went on this process for myself. I got a mentor and people in my life that I could ask questions to, and I felt safe on this new path of finding who God was for Dylan. And I made the best decision of my life. I decided to follow Jesus with everything that I had. I said, me and my future family, we're going to follow the Lord. And so after that decision, God, I said, God, I need a church home. I need a place that I can belong, a place that I can bring my friends. Because, a lot of you know, being believers in here and being saved like I was, you don't want to just keep it for yourself. Once you experience that, you want your friends to experience the same freedom, the same peace, and the same love you have. And so I wanted to bring my friends to a church that I could really feel comfortable bringing them to, that was a safe and welcoming place. All of a sudden, I meet Troy and Lacey. Troy and Lacey were friends of my dad. I was at a conference with my dad, like over spring break or something, and I met Troy and Lacey. And gosh, they were just, from the very second we met, I feel like we had a friendship connection that was immediately something I knew was going to impact my life. Did I fully know that it looked like this today? No. But I did know they were going to play a role. I did know they were going to play some sort of role in the journey that I was on. And so Troy and Lacey said, hey, we feel called to Manhattan, and I was here. So us three and the two beautiful little girls, we are the only people of Rock Hills back then. And they didn't even have a name. It was nothing. We didn't know a building. We didn't know what we were going to do, what it was going to look like. No idea. And I've been able to watch these guys walk in obedience. When God gives you a promise and when God calls you to a place and to people, this is what can happen. And these are two people that have been completely obedient with everything that they have and their whole entire heart since day one. They're people I respect. They're people that I love. And you are absolutely the most blessed people in the whole entire world to have them as your pastors. So I know you already know that. I just want to reaffirm to you, I love these people. And you can follow them as they follow Christ. So now I work at the Oaks. It's a church in Dallas where I'm from. So I moved back to Dallas. I'm the young adults pastor. Everybody 18 to 30, they get to kick it with me at different socials, small groups, services that we have. And so I went on this journey, this new journey I'm very personal. Like, I'm very personable. I really like people. I get energy from people. I love hanging out with people. I don't really like hanging out at my house alone. I will always invite a friend with me. And being such a people person, I thought about the greatest commandment, and that's to love your neighbor as yourself. And I really asked myself, what does this mean? To love your neighbor as yourself, what does this really look like? Because I understand the concept, like, hey, treat others with respect, love people. I mean, we hear this since we were born. These things are instilled in us in school and in church and by our parents. But what does that actually mean? As grown adults in this society, what does it look like to love a person like you would like to be loved? Treat them like you would like to be treated. And come to find out, I didn't really know the answers to that. And so I asked God, I said, God, I want to know how to love people, and not just how to love people and to be kind and to treat them like I think I should, but how you've called me to. And what does that really look like for me? And what does that look like for someone that calls himself a Christ follower? And so for me, I realized loving people like you would like to be loved. I really wasn't understanding what that looked like in the sense of this. I was loving people when it was easy. I was loving people when it was convenient for me. I was loving the people that I wanted to love, that were easy, that were life-giving, because we all know some people aren't life-giving. They're draining to be around, and it's not necessarily fun. You don't have the same hobbies, the same interests. I was loving the people that I wanted to love when I wanted to love them. And this shocked me. This hit me to my core, because I thought about all the people that are around me that are walking by that are not being able to feel love because I'm not there to love them. And I think that this is a big enough issue that God doesn't just leave this on the table and say, go figure it out. He tells us. He tells us how to love people, and he's shown that to us in a story called The Great Samaritan. So today, that's what we're going to focus on, is the Great Samaritan. And through this story, it's going to teach us how to love better, who to love, and how to love them. So if you want to turn to Luke 10, 30 through 37, it's going to be up on the screens. But if you want to get out your phone or your Bible, feel free to do so. Luke 10, 30 through 37. A man was walking down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going by the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, he passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any expense you may have. So you got a Jewish man on the side of the road. He just got beat up, left for dead, got all his money stolen. He has nothing, okay? And then all of a sudden, 3 people walk by. And these are 3 different people, 3 different walks of life, 3 different seasons, 3 different personalities, but they're people. And let's think about it whenever we're going to break down this story. Whenever we break down this story, let's think about it in our day and age, in our context, so we can really grab what this would look like for us. And what this would really look like for us and in our lives. So you got basically a homeless man for whatever circumstance, and this one he was beaten and robbed. It was not his choice about anything he did, and he was on the side of the road. And then you have a priest walk by. This guy works at a church. How can a guy that works at a church, sits up on this platform, has the microphone, and reads out of the Bible, how could that guy walk past someone in need? I think we all know in our life, we don't have to be priests to understand this. I think a lot of us can say it's a lot easier to talk about something than to do something about it. Especially when it's a hard situation like this. It's not fun helping a guy on the side of the road that's bleeding, that's beat up, that's broken, that has no money. That's not easy. He was on his way to preach about it, but living it for whatever circumstance, for that day, he just couldn't do it. It was too much. Then you have a Levite. A Levite is a churchgoer, a church attender, and this Levite walks past the man. He saw the man, but he walks past. The Levite forgot that he was the church. Church isn't just a place that you go. Church isn't just a building that you go to on Sunday mornings or Wednesday nights or for small groups. He was on his way to church forgetting he was the church. And so he was on his way to learn about love, but didn't really act on the things that he was learning. And you know what's scary to me, and I think about this from my life and how many times I've messed up on this, is a lot of times we'll love people, we'll serve people, we'll help with nonprofits, we'll do things whenever it gives us credit and whenever it gives us the applause or the pat on the back or people see. You see, no one else is mentioned in this story. It didn't say, hey, there was thousands of people walking around. Hey, there was hundreds of people on the side of the road that day. It was a very busy day in the streets. No, they didn't say that. They mentioned 4 people in the story. Okay? And so here's what we can imagine, and how I like to think about it, is that when the Levite was walking by, it was him and the man on the side of the road. He had a choice to make. Okay, no one's around. No one's going to see this. If I help, if I don't help, no one's going to see, no one's going to know. Let me just go about my business, what seems to be easier, and let me just go to my small group, or let me just go to my church service, and let me just go hang out with the people that are a little bit easier to love. That guy, that's a little too hard. It's a little too draining for me. And then you have a Samaritan walk by. So back context of this, the Samaritans and the Jews, they did not like each other. They were not friends. Actually, they were somewhat hated enemies in that day. And so it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why a Samaritan would stop. Why would someone whose culture is completely different, they probably looked a lot different, they probably talked a lot different, why would he stop and help that man? And not only did he stop and help him, not only did he go up and say, hey, here's a few bucks, wish you luck, buddy. No, but he stopped, he gave his time, he gave his energy, he gave his resources, and he followed up. That Samaritan showed us what it looks like to love somebody. It's because the Samaritan got it. The Samaritan understood that the greatest person you can love is the person that's right in front of you. See, I don't think that the Levite or the priest were bad people. I just think they got confused. They just got distracted. They just got caught up too much in the routine that they forgot what love really means and what love really looks like. Love the person right in front of you. See, a lot of times for us, I mean, even more than back then, I would think because of social media and because of the engagement that we're able to have with people at any time, anywhere, at an instant, we get so caught up and are so engaged in the go that we forget to live in the now. Right now in this moment. Too busy thinking about who we're going to go hang out with or what we're going to do after this or where we're going to go eat or what's going to happen that you miss the opportunity to love the person that's sitting right next to you. And I am a victim of this. I think about this every day. I don't want to live too consumed worrying and thinking about my future that I miss the opportunity to live in the now. There's one friend that I have that has changed my outlook, that has changed my purpose for living, and really taught me what it looks like to love the person right in front of you. His name is Sam Harville. My friend Sam Harville and me, we came here freshman year in 2011, and we were really good friends on recruiting visits. His dad's a pastor, my dad's a pastor, so it was just, hey, do you want to be roommates? Yeah, I'd love to be roommates. Awesome. We moved in together in 2011, and we spend a couple months together, and I realize I am a boy among men. I mean, I don't think I'm not that small, but compared to like my friends, especially Sam, I was like an ant. I was so tiny. Like my whole body was one of his arms. I'm not lying. He not only was very physically, not only did he put off a big physical physique, but he could back it up with the weight too. Sam was named the strongest teenager in the world in many different categories. Too many that I don't even know the numbers. It's so many different ways. He was in the record books as the strongest teenager in the world. And I didn't know how to put this best in words. I didn't know how to actually express this to the full extent that it could be. So I brought some video for you to see my strong friend.
Only a few guys in the world can do this.
I told you he was strong. So if you didn't know what was happening in that video, I'm sure you had no idea that was about to come on the screens. So here's what was happening. That's a frying pan. I went and bought that and was like, yo, I want to get a video of you doing this. And so he literally got a frying pan like this and rolled it up like a burrito just using his hands. Okay? I have it at my house. Then the second video was a license plate. So he got a license plate, put it in his mouth, and ripped it in half. The third video, and this is probably the most impressive, it may not look like it, but go home and try it, and I promise you'll understand. Get a deck of cards and try to rip them long ways. Okay? So not only, like, think about this. Your hands have to have so much grip in them. I mean, his hands are huge, like bear claws, but you have to have so much grip strength to even grab it, to even get a grip. I mean, cards are like, they're kind of, they're not easy to get a hold of. They're kind of like slimy a little bit, with the oil on them or whatever from the ink. So it's not easy. He could grip them and rip them long ways. He told me that there's less than 10 people in the world that could do that at that time when he did. So the guy was huge. He was strong. He was going to come in and change K-State football. Okay, he was on full ride with me. He was a D tackle. He was supposed to come in and play as a freshman. And so he had all these accolades, all these awards, all this hype, all the newspaper, all the TV, everything. 3 weeks into Sam's summer workout program, his freshman year, Sam tears his ACL. And if you're familiar with an ACL tear, that is not an easy recovery. That is not one that's a fast turnaround when it comes to the time of rehabilitation. And so this got Sam pretty upset. And Sam's identity of being a football player and being a strong man and the foundation that he had set kind of got crumbled in the moment that his knee gave out. he felt that. He thought that. And he started to live that way too. He started to feel like he had nothing to live for. He had nothing to give. If he wasn't giving on the football field, then what purpose does he have? And so Sam went through a couple more months of rehabilitation, but after a while ended up getting off the K-State football team for various reasons, got off the team and started to really cope with this stress and this depression that he was dealing with on a consistent basis, and started to deal with this in many ways and got in trouble in different circumstances with the law and so forth. And it was a very dark time for my friend. And I saw Sam probably once a year. He was around more than that, but I'm sure we can all attest when someone's in that dark and deep of a place and there's so much emotion going on with that person's life, it's not always easy to be around those people. It's not always easy to go hang out with them because it's life draining. You kind of take on a little bit of the weight. You don't really know what to talk about. It's not really fun having conversations with people that are down. And so he was in town multiple times more than that, but I saw him when it was convenient for me, and I saw him when I kind of felt like it. And so that went on for about 2-3 years. And I was beginning of my senior year. So it was 2015. And in 2015, I was friends with his parents, and we hadn't talked, on the phone very often, but I had their phone number, and I see a call from his mom. And I knew in the pit of my stomach that something had happened. Something was wrong. I answered the phone and I said, "Yes, Miss Harville, this is Dylan. Are you okay?" She said, "Hey, I need to tell you something." That's okay. And it was him. It was his dad and his mom on the phone. And they said, "Hey, so last night it was a Wednesday night, and we had church, and we were having Wednesday night church, and we were leaving to go, and we said, 'Sam, come on, we're going to church. Come on, you want to ride with us?' He said, 'No, I'll drive my truck. I'll be there in a few minutes.'" And it was Sam's dad, Sam's mom, and his fiance. He had a beautiful fiance, an amazing, amazing girl. We talked about her a lot, and he was very in love with her and had a bright future with her that he was very much looking forward to. And he said, "No, I'll meet you there. I'll be there in a little bit." And so all of a sudden, his parents didn't think anything about it. They go to church. An hour passes by, and Sam's not there. And this isn't like Sam. Sam was always on time. Sam was always at church. And he just said a few minutes ago that he'd be there shortly. And so an hour goes by, and I think his mom had the mom instinct of, "Hey, I need to go check on my baby boy. I need to go check on my son." So she goes and checks on her son, drives home, back to the house, and Sam's not in the house, and she's calling out, and he's not there, and he's not replying. She goes into the garage, and she finds her son. She finds my friend. He's laying in his own blood from the gunshot wound that he inflicted on himself into his heart on a Wednesday night, just a normal church night. Just a normal family night. When I got that phone call, as tears were coming down my face, I didn't really know what to say. I don't know if I really could say anything at that moment, but I'm here for you and I love you. But after we hung up the phone, I thought about what I would say to Sam if I had 5 more minutes with him. If I had 5 more minutes with my friend, what could I say? I think a few things I would say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we spent years together, but I only gave you a few moments. I'm sorry that you were right there, right in front of me the whole time. And sometimes you were crying out for help. But I was too busy, caught up with the parties I could go to or the friends I could hang out with that were more like me or were easier to hang out with. I'm sorry that you were right in front of me the whole time, but the whole time you had nobody. Sam didn't need anybody to say anything. He didn't even need anybody to do anything. He just needed someone that would be there with no objective in mind, just to love him. This situation of my life has now changed the way I view love. How I view love is whoever's in front of me, I'm going to give them the best me. All my effort, all my attention, all my energy, no matter who they are, no matter what they believe, no matter what they're going through, no matter if it's fun for me or if I really want to. Who's your Sam Harville? Who's the person in your life that you may interact with every day, at work, at school, here at church? That just needs you to be there. That just needs you to love them and to tell them that, hey, I'm here for you. No objective, no goal, nothing for me, but I just want to love you for who you are. It gets me so excited. It gets me so excited thinking about Rock Hills, and I mean, this place is founded on love. The foundation of this place is love. People that love God enough and are obedient enough to be able to come here and move their family here across state lines with nothing, and look what it's turned into. It's turned into something because there's love in this place. And I think all of you feel it, or you wouldn't be here every week and you wouldn't come back to this place. This place is founded on love. What would it look like even more than that if there's 450 people that are out in the community saying, I'll love the person right in front of me? People are so upset, so sad. People, now being a pastor, I see it more than ever. When you look at people, it's deceiving. You can maybe think that you know them, or maybe if they look a certain way, they got it all together, that it's okay. People are going through a lot more and are feeling a lot more than you think, in a very negative way. There's a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors that we don't even know. And God's called us to be the church to our community, not just in this new building, not just here at our small groups or on Sunday mornings, but he's called us to be the church of our community. Manhattan needs you guys. I know Manhattan. I love Manhattan. And I love the people of Manhattan. And I know there's a lot of them that could use you. Who is your Sam Harville? And I'm so excited to see what happens as 450 people get excited about that and really feel the weight of that in a very good way. Some of you, whenever I was telling the story of the Good Samaritan, you feel like you're the guy on the side of the road. You're the guy or girl on the side of the road that's beaten, broken. Everything's been stolen from you. You don't have anything to give. You're not worth anything. What do you give to this world? You're just a burden to people on the side of the road. And you feel like that. For whatever reason, you don't really have any purpose and you have no meaning. And just like me, when I was in college and I was going through this season of my life finding who God was for me, you don't really know who God is. You don't really know what you believe, who you are, what your end goal is, what I want to do in my life. You're searching, you're finding. But let me tell you this. You may be on the side of the road. I can come over and help you, and I will help you the best I can. But I promise you, no one will cross the road more times, and no one will be able to help you more than Jesus. He is the one that crossed the road for us. God loved us enough that he sent his son Jesus to come down to heaven, or come down from heaven to earth to live among us. When he lived among us, he spent 3 years doing ministry, doing miracles, healing and loving people, showing us what it looks like to love the person right in front of us. Then he died on the cross. When he died on the cross, all of our sins were placed upon him. That way, he made a way where there was no way for us to be able to go to heaven. Now, we are able, if we say, God, I can't do this on my own. I'm searching, I'm finding, but I know there's more. I know you exist. I know you love me, and I don't want to live for myself anymore. I want to live for you. When you say that prayer, God sees you, he is with you, and he's the one that can cross the road for you. And he's done that. He's just waiting for you to accept that love that he wants to give you. I love you guys, and I really hope that this is an encouragement, not a depressing thing of, oh, that's so sad what happened to Dylan, or hey, I feel the weight of that story. Feeling the weight of a story is very depressing, but feeling the weight in a good way of I can make a change and I can do something is very inspiring. And I'm here to inspire you. You have a God that loves you. You have a God that cares about you. You have a God who's going to show you what to do, how to do it, and who to love. Let me pray. God, thank you so much for the opportunity we have today to be able to be here, to be able to worship you freely. Gosh, how cool is it that we get to be in a community here saying, God, we don't know what to do. We have questions. We're trying to figure it out, but we get to figure it out together. God, thank you for the people in this room that are going to go out of here and be inspired to love the people that they do life with, no matter who they are or what that person looks like or what they believe. God, we're going to be able to be representations of your church and what it looks like to love people in a genuine and compassionate way more than ever before. Thank you for what you're doing at this church. God, you are alive here. You are moving in here. God, I pray that continues to flourish and continues to reach this Manhattan community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dylan. And appreciate you, man, on your birthday, sharing your heart with us today. It's his birthday today. So that's cool. It's just fun to watch somebody live in such a way that they can take circumstances, take experiences, and say, God, how can you use me? How can you turn my mess into a message? And so, man, I don't know what stuck out to you today, or what just like hit you or rocked you. I had several things. I was just thinking, writing down, it's like, who's my Sam? Who's my Sam in my life? You guys all have people around you, that sometimes a minute can go a monumental way. So just who's around me, and then something else that stuck out to me. I was just thinking about, how do I activate this? How do I take a step? Just always remembering from my story, all of our stories are different, but I'll tell you, for me, from my story, man, God never passed me by. He didn't just pass me by. So when I was in my mess and my junk and hoping somebody would stop and help, people did, and God used them to help me, but man, Jesus did. Jesus is the one that's telling this fictitious story just to give some religious people an idea, just so that they'd hang long enough to listen in this fictitious story about the character of God. He was like, you want to know who God is? I'll tell you, he's my Father. Check out this story. You know who passed him by? You all, the religious people that are listening to him tell the story. And the one they would have never thought, as Dylan talked about, never thought would have stopped to help was a Samaritan. Boo, Samaritan. Jesus really just illustrating what he did for you and I, because we didn't deserve him to stop and to come to this planet and to give his life and to pull us up out of our mess. And some of you I feel like God has passed me by. I still got some circumstances and some bills to pay, and I'd like to have a different car and some family members to pull their head out, or whatever. I feel like sometimes Jesus just passed me by. I don't know if he cares. No. The greatest need he could ever meet was to fill the void spiritually in your life, to remove the gap between us and his Father. And he did that. So maybe that's your step today, is to say, Jesus, I need you in my life. And man, if you prayed as Dylan was praying, maybe that's you. And every Sunday, never get away from this moment. Every Sunday is an opportunity for us to say, man, my step is to invite that kind of God into my life that helped me. And it may look like one thing on the outside, but I have this internal thing going on, and I need Jesus' help. And if you took that step today, maybe you're like, how do I do that? Scripture says, if you pray and confess with your mouth, you believe in your heart that he's Lord, you'll be saved. If you put your faith in not what you can do or your talent or ability, but you put your faith in what Jesus did for you, then you're saved. And some of you maybe did that. And what we do as a church, our responsibility is to come alongside. That's what we do. We don't have it figured out. We've not cornered the market on how church exactly works. But what we do as a community is just say, Jesus did the same thing for me. Let's stumble through this journey together. And that's what we do, and I help you as a church. And so if you mark this box and maybe you made that decision today, I'm making a decision to follow Jesus. And maybe that's the first time that you have been trusting enough to say, all right, Jesus, I'll open my heart, invite you in. Or maybe you would say, we all have different stories. Maybe you say, it's been a while. I grew up in church. Like Dylan and like Troy, I got to college and I said, see you later, church. That's our stories. Maybe you have a similar story. Maybe today, no matter what your story is, maybe today you feel like Jesus is saying, I want you to come back and invite me in a relationship. Put me at the center of your life, no matter what that looks like. If you mark that box, what we'll do is just simply send you an email. Look, people came alongside me when I took that step and resourced me and helped me, and we just want to return the favor. And so we'll simply send you an email with some resources to help get you plugged in and help you continue to take steps in your relationship. And then many of us in here, you say, I'm a follower of Jesus. What do I do with that story? Do what Jesus did for you. You love the unlovable, which by the way is us, all of us, I was just laughing when he said, some people aren't easy to love. I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, wait, I may be the hardest one, like sometimes. And we gotta carry it out, because you never know what God will do through you when you say, God, I want you to do something in me. He'll do something through you. So maybe that's your step today. And then maybe you're just hungry and you're like, prayer and potluck and welcome to, that sounds good because I'm hungry and it's lunchtime. You just write that on the card and we'll follow up and make sure you get the details for that too. But ushers, if you want to go ahead, come forward. We're going to receive our cards. You can tear those off now and fill out. Man, I would love to see, I'm not just saying this to try to get people to show up to a place. I swear, Jesus knows my heart. But for those, the summer group that we're going to have, man, I promise you it'll be worth your while. If that's something you can be a part of, even if it's 3 out of the 6 weeks, 4 out of the 6 weeks, whatever. If you want to put that on a card, that'd be great. And it's as the buckets go by, this is our opportunity to give too. And if you're a guest with us, no pressure. No pressure for you to give. We're just glad that you're here. If you mark that box, we'll make first-time guests. We'll make a donation in your behalf to Royal Family Kids Camp. But we want to show you a video as the buckets are going by that gives a little bit of an idea of the content that we're going to be talking about within that summer group. So check this out.
I don't know if you have recognized this or not. Life is not consistent. There is a randomness to life. Seemingly, there is a randomness to God. There is a randomness to the events of life. There is something in all of us that wants to shrink God down to something I can carry around in my hand. Faith is my confidence that He is who He says He is, and He'll do everything He's promised to do. But faith is also the confidence that if God says no, He's still God. Great faith is great surrender. The bridge between hope and faith is the promise of God.
So faith, hope, and luck. That's what we're going to be talking about. And it will be a topic that is easily translatable to your life, I assure you. Like, where does that balance between faith, hope, and God's will for my life? So we'll have just upfront time, just getting to hang out as a big group and at tables. And then at the same time, that's about a 15-minute video each week that we'll watch. And then we'll just talk at a table as table discussion. And it's about 7 to 8:15, and that will be it. And your kids can be hanging out at childcare if you have kids and need to take advantage of that too. So excited about that, kicking off the second week of June. Hey, next week we are wrapping up a series we've been in called Talk is Cheap. Talk is Cheap, which really fit today as well. You got to have action with love. Action trumps our words. And so we're going to wrap up this series, Talk is Cheap, next week. We've been in the book of James. We're going to look at chapter 5. It's going to be about prayer. How do you have a prayer life that activates your faith? And so I'd love to have you next week as we wrap that up. But you can go ahead and stand up with me. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I'm glad you picked this day to come and hang out at Rock Hills Church. Hope you have a great day. If we've never met, Lacey and I've never met, you've got a moment, we'd love to meet you. We'll be up front. Other than that, have a great day. We'll see you guys later. Bye.